What's up, guys? This is Neo. Welcome back to the Geometry Wars 2 Let's Play series. Today, I believe I'm going to do a little bit of pacifism. I probably won't be able to fit many games in because depending on how good you do, pacifism can last a really long time. But while I play, I guess I'll give some tips and tricks on how to get a little bit better at pacifism. Things that I use to help me get a little better. Pacifism is actually my highest score, but it's also my worst score. As you can see on the leaderboard, I'm 439 with 1.5 billion, which is bad. But like waves, I'm 17 on the leaderboard with 87.7 million. Yeah, I guess we'll just jump right in, and I can just give some tips and tricks along the way. When you first start playing, or if you want to get better, there's a few things you can do. One of the things is to actually just do a pacifist run in pacifism, and that's just basically try to dodge all the enemies and gates for as long as you can. This will get you used to, finding good paths. That was bad. Finding good paths through all the enemies. Eventually they will catch up to you and kill you if you can last that long. I think it takes about 65 seconds for them to catch you, but going through and finding your own path and finding good paths, learning to dodge them, that'll help you later on in pacifism when you're in sticky situations and you need to find a way out. Yeah, I guess that's one of the main things that I do, is just to try to avoid everything for as long as you can and then just start playing. Another tip I can give you, as you can see right now, there are a lot of gates on the screen, and the way gates spawn in pacifism is they'll spawn 2 every cycle that enemies spawn, and then the next cycle it won't spawn. Like you can see, one spawned here, and then the next spawn cycle another one spawned, and then you heard that spawn, and I'll do the camera trick so I can pause the game and zoom out, and you'll see on that third spawn no gate spawned. But when it comes to the next one, you saw a gate spawn right here. So it's 2, and then it skips 1, 2, and skips 1. And that'll give you kind of an idea of when gates are going to spawn, how often they're going to spawn. You can see right now that there's starting to get a lot of gates on the board, and a lot of times in pacifism, stuff like that will happen at the top of the screen. So I tried to zoom in to it and kill myself, but yeah. Like, stuff like this will happen. Gates will just spawn inside of each other, and it makes kind of a hard path. For starting players, I would recommend doing a little bit of gate control, which would be, just kind of fly through the gates and clear out some every now and then. Try to take some enemies with you, of course, but if you don't, that's fine. Just try to take some of these gates out so you don't just run into enemies all the time, or run into the gates, or you have so many gates that you're trying to go through like this, where you just kind of have to stop and redirect your path. You want to try to stay going at all times when you first start out. The next major thing, and probably the biggest thing in pacifism, get as many geoms as you can. There's some points where you'll kill a lot of enemies and you won't be able to get all their geoms, but just try to fly back and get as many as you can, because later on in pacifism, to get really high scores, you're going to need a lot. I've seen videos all over YouTube, and I've watched people play it. When they get upwards of like 5 billion, 6 billion, they have 10,000 plus geoms. So it really helps to have as many geoms as you can. And look at all these gates. This is what I'm talking about with gate control. I'm going to die here because I have nowhere to go because there's so many gates. And yeah, I get nervous when there's a lot of gates, and I try to make my own path. I'm worried about the diamonds, and I'm worried about them spawning in the corner that I'm in, which will happen. They will spawn on top of you. So another tip is don't sit in corners ever. Try to keep on the move, unless you just like stop right in front of a gate like I just did, to try to lure them to you so you can get more of their geoms. But yeah, don't ever sit in corners. But yeah, like that whole gate thing that you just saw, try to do a little bit of gate control, but like I said, try to take enemies with you when you do it. You can kind of see, when I kill something, I kind of make a circle and go back towards the enemies just a little bit, that allows you to get more geoms from everything you just killed. So that's a good tip. Just do a little circle in front of them and kind of go back to the enemies you just killed, like that, and you'll pick up a lot more geoms that way. Another thing to remember about gates that I didn't say in waves, but it didn't really matter in waves. Each gate that you go through, if you go through them in succession, there is an achievement to do this as well, so you can kind of look at the achievement and see how it works. If you listen to the gates when you go through them like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, you heard the pitch getting higher. That means you're getting a higher multiplier or point multiplier on your gates. If you go through them in rapid succession, the gates actually count double, triple, quadruple points as you continue to go through them in rapid succession, up to 5 times. And yeah, I just ran into a gate in because there was so many. But that's a good thing to remember once you have a lot of multiplier and there's a lot of gates in one spot. Once you get able to dodge a lot of these enemies, wow, you can start running through gates in rapid succession and getting a lot more points. It doesn't really help that much when you have lower multipliers. I mean, it still helps, but you know, not nearly as much as when you have 3,000 or 4,000 multiplier. Oh my god, why do I always do so bad when I record? It's like I don't pay attention. I look over at my computer to see what time I'm at, and then I look back and I'm dead at 48,000 in Pacifism. It's like I'm the worst Geometry Wars player ever trying to give you guys tips. But I don't know. This is just some of the stuff that I use to help me get better. I'm not extremely good at Pacifism. I mean, 1.5 billion is an okay score. It's top 500 score, but I mean, yeah, it's not great. I actually had a pretty good run yesterday. I got 700 million. Of course, I wasn't recording the Let's Play then, or I wasn't recording anything, which always happens. But, you know, there's so many gates right there. Jesus. Yeah, I probably should have, like, warmed up or something before I did this Let's Play. I'm kind of in a rush today, and I made a goal to myself to get this out today, and I've got a lot to do later on, so I've only got about 10 more minutes to record this Let's Play, so. But, yeah, I mean, just kind of learn to do this kind of stuff, to just dodge them, make your own little pass, try to get them clustered up at the end of one gate like this before you go through it to get the most multiplier. To get more multiplier, do that little, oh my god, do that little circle to go back at them. Just don't go way into them like I just did and be an idiot. Remember the gate multipliers. If you go through them in rapid succession, they'll double, triple, quadruple your points up to 5 times. Do a little bit of gate control if you're new at Pacifism, or if you're having trouble with gates. It's always good to do a bit of gate control, like that, just to clear a few of them out on the screen so they don't start doing this crap over here. And you could hear all 5 different pitches of the gates that I went through right there. That's the 5th gate gave me 5 times the points. I mean, yeah, that's really all the tips I can give for Pacifism. Is just, you know, keep practicing at it. Use these tips. Get as many geons as you can. You'll need them for a good high score. Don't just leave them sitting on the field. Get as many as you can. Later on, when there's a lot of enemies, you won't be able to get as many as you would like, but, you know, just try to get as many as you can. Don't do too much gate control like I'm doing now. I'm doing a lot of it. There's a lot of gates in that top left corner. But you can do so much gate control that there's no gates on the screen. There's maybe 2 or 3. And then once you have a lot of enemies, you know, you have nowhere to go. You just have to keep running from them. And when you have this many enemies on the screen with no gates, that can get really troublesome, because they will eventually catch up to you and kill you. So just try to stay with a good amount of gates, but not too many that you can't maneuver. This is a pretty good amount of gates on the screen right now. I could use a few more, so I won't do as much gate control. This is a pretty decent run right now, I guess. I'm up to 250 million. And then, yeah, as soon as I say that, they spawn in the corner that I'm sitting in. So that's one of those tips. Don't sit in a corner. And I just did that. So, yeah, that was about 250 million. So that's an okay run, but you know, it just takes practice. Do like a few warm-up runs, like I said, before you actually start going for high score runs. Just kind of do this. Just start dodging them. That'll get you kind of warmed up, able to dodge, and able to maneuver around all the gates and stuff on the screen. And then once you feel like you're warmed up enough, then just start throwing in the other tips. Gate control, get as many geoms as you can. Learning the little circle thing that you see me do every now and then, just to get, if there's a lot of enemies like that, get a lot of geoms. Do a little gate control here. And then, yeah, just keep trying to dodge them all as you, oh my god, as you try to go through the gates and make your path. I think I'm at about 12 minutes right now. I'll play a few more games just to show you some of the tips in action. I think there was a few more tips that I was gonna bring up, but that covers most of them. Just the main thing in Pacifism is get as many of these geoms as you can. And of course, you know, do a little bit of gate control. If you watch really high score runs, like there's some 10, 11, 12 billion runs on YouTube already, you can see how they kind of do this little circle to get as many geoms as they can. They do a little bit of gate control. They don't do as much because, of course, they're warmed up and they're ready to go. They're used to flying around everything on the screen. But, you know, this is just kind of a beginner tip. Don't be nervous to kind of go through guys like that if that's the only path you can take. Just be wary of how fast they are, how close they are to you. That was a lot of gate control. But yeah, if you need to make a little path, then, you know, sometimes enemies will have just a little gap between them and you'll be able to fly through them. Don't try to go all the way around them, especially if they're going really fast, because they'll be able to catch up to you and turn faster than you can. So, and yeah, I should have just went through them there. Also, another thing to remember is when you go through a gate, it clears out, oh my god, and it clears out a lot of those enemies. So you can also just, you know, fly straight through them if you know that it's going to kill them all. Don't just back up and retreat from them, because A, you're going to leave a lot of geoms behind, and B, they, like I said, they may catch up with you if they're going fast enough when you go all the way around. Like I'll try to give you an example here. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to give you a good one right now. Like this, you could just fly up through them, and then like this, you can fly up through them, and you'll get almost all those geoms. Don't just try to fly around them. See, I left a lot of geoms down there because I just flew around them. But oh my god, it's a lot of gates. Whatever. But yeah, I mean, there's not really many more tips I can give on pacifism. It's just get warmed up before you actually start doing or trying for high score runs. Do the little pacifist run just to try to avoid as many as you can. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but you know, that's, oh man, yeah, I'll play one more, and if it's a good run, whatever. If not, yeah. A good way to warm up is, instead of just like flying away from them, start going through their little gaps, because that'll help you with finding paths. It'll help you find paths a lot quicker and be a lot better at them once you go through them like that. And then once it gets down to the point where they're either about to catch you or, you know, you're gonna hit something, start going through gates and then collecting as many geoms as you can. As you can see, there's a lot of gates on the screen right now because of the pacifist part, and that'll actually help you a lot too. once you are able to find good paths. With this many gates on the screen, they normally like to spread out a lot if there's a lot of gates. Sometimes they like to cluster up if there's not that many. But with this many gates, they like to spread out. So you can find really good paths with the gates and get a lot of geoms really quick. See, I'm already up to 1,000 and I basically just started blowing them off. But yeah, you can see these guys are starting to get really fast now because there's a lot of them following me, and they've been on screen for a pretty good while. That was close, but you know, I mean, just use these tips, and eventually you'll start learning the pass. You'll be able to fly through gates a lot quicker. That was terrible. But like I said, I'm not that good at pacifism unless I play it for a while and get really warmed up and really good at it. But I guess that's it for today. The next episode will probably be King. I know this was kind of a terrible episode, at least the gameplay was. The highest score I got was 280 million, which is kind of bad. But just use those tips, and you know, eventually you'll start getting a lot higher scores. Just keep practicing, get as many geoms as you can. Do pacifist runs every now and then just to get you warmed up with finding paths and things like that. And you know, eventually you'll start hitting the hundreds of millions and even billions. Thanks for watching, guys. That's it for today. Like I said, the next episode will be King. That may go up tomorrow. It may be a couple of days. I'm not sure. But yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye, guys.